Recently, a viewer asked me if I could talk about how I choose pots for my houseplants and how I display some of them. So I thought I'd bring you along today while I stop in at one of my favorite greenhouses and pick up a couple new plants, and then I'll give you a little mini tour of some of the houseplants I have right now in my parlor and share with you one of my favorite collections. This nursery carries some amazing pots, and these are just a few of them. It was snowing in the parking lot while I was walking in, and it was like suddenly stepping into Eden. Look at these incredible olive trees and the citrus. Oh my gosh. This is a $700 tree, you guys. But isn't she stunning? I was the only shopper there, and it was so peaceful and quiet. Other than the hum of the fans and the misters, it was just me and the plants. Way over there are the pots that I showed you at the beginning. There are rows and rows of them. Oh, these were beautiful. These gorgeous snake plants. And this was love at first sight. I have found some great pots at Marshall's over the years, and the price is definitely right. But a lot of times they're very modern looking and don't really fit with my decor. I also try to avoid the made in China ones when I can. These blue and whites really caught my eye though. I practically sprinted down the end of the aisle because this big one is perfect for what I just bought at the nursery. Look at this beautiful gardenia. I've been wanting one for quite some time, and I was right, this pot was absolutely the perfect size for her. They can get quite large. My friend has one that is 4 foot tall, but I think the plant is like 15 years old, so I have some time for her to live in this pot. Next to her is a fern called Green Flame. The little pot she's in was on clearance at Michael's, and the riser is a candlestick I bought for a few cents at an estate sale. And here she is, the Australian tree fern. This was an $80 plant, and buying a pot for her would have probably been another $80. So I turned to this amazing ironstone vessel. When choosing what to put your plants in, keep the following in mind. How large will it get? How long will this be in this particular vessel? What do the roots like? Do they need air? Do they like to be kept close and tight? What are the humidity requirements? Can it tolerate drafts? Can it tolerate being near a heating vent? What are the light requirements like? Does it need bright direct light? Does it need indirect light? And the most important of all, be sure you're not bringing anything in your home that could harm your animals or whoever else is living there. And here on the desk, I have a hellebore or hellebora, however you choose to say it. They're also called Linton Roses, and they make great indoor plants. They do need chill time outside in order to bloom, so keep that in mind if you choose to have one indoors. And here's another one. This one was called Iceberg, and I loved how it has the green accent at the center. It does have a lot of stamens shedding from it, so just keep that in mind if you choose to bring one indoors. This one is in a big frost-proof pot that I purchased at, I think, Home Goods. Over here on the parlor table, I've got a couple ferns. This one is called Austral Gem, and I've top dressed this one with living moss. Moss and ferns are really good companions because they both like high humidity, which is why misting it like this just makes both of them really happy. And to the right here is what probably is my favorite fern of all. It's called a rabbit's foot fern. It's got these amazing air roots that look like little fuzzy bunny feet. And as you can see, it also loves a good misting. You can see how the little feet hang over the edges of the pot. And actually, this isn't a pot at all. This is a flower vase that was used at our wedding on the altar. I chose to use it for this plant because it gave the little air roots so much space to come down on the sides. This one's not top dressed with moss because the crown of the plant is very dense and I don't want to cause a moisture problem in there. There's really not much bare soil, so it just doesn't need a top dressing in my opinion. And I'd say this plant is pretty happy as it has lots of new shoots coming off of it. Across the room and on another parlor table, I have my brand new terrarium that was a Christmas gift from my husband. The glass made it difficult to film, so I took the top off to give you a look inside. This rose is a complete experiment. She was buried in a snowdrift, and I found her and thought, oh my gosh, I might lose this rose because she's just in this little quart pot. So I brought it in, let it thaw, popped it in the terrarium, and look at that growth. Right now her companions are this pure white phalaenopsis that I found at the grocery store of all places. I just love that it doesn't have any color at all in the centers. It is truly a white phal, and it seems very pleased in there. As does this austral gem fern. This is a piece that I broke off of the plant that's actually to the right there of the terrarium. So that is also an austral gem. They're called bird's nest ferns as well. From what I understand, it's because when you look at them from the top, they look kind of crazy like a bird's nest. They don't have the typical structure of most ferns. I think she's lovely. She also has a moss top dressing and seems very happy with that, as she is also a humidity-loving fern. The green pot inside the terrarium came from, I think, Home Goods at some point in time. And the terracotta pot with the austral gem fern in it, that came from maybe At Home, I think. And it is set inside a vintage silver piece that does a great job of protecting the wood from any water that comes through the bottom. Now into the dining room where I have some snowdrops. I dug these out of my yard and put them in this footed fruit bowl, or I guess it could be also called a compote, with, you guessed it, moss on top. When I brought them in, they were tightly closed up from being out in the cold, and they've slowly started to open now that they're in the warmth. Here we have a little African violet in this amazing deep bluish purple. This is a very small plant, and it is just right for this tiny swan that is part of my Swan Collection. I've got another African violet in the back there in the larger planter, but she's not blooming at the moment. I decided if I was going to have a couple of them out, I'd bring all the swans out. So here is my Swan Planter collection. I absolutely adore these. The collection started when I bought the large swan in the back right with the violet in it at an estate sale for just a couple dollars. In fact, I think she has the sticker on the bottom still that says $2. And that got me started keeping an eye out for them at different sales or on Etsy. I only have one rule, and it's that I'll only buy the ones I really love. I like the pure white, so no black on the eyes or yellow on the beak or anything like that. And actually this one is my most recent acquisition. I did buy her from Etsy, and she's probably the most expensive one yet because she was, I think, around $30. She is a Lenox, made in USA. I just love how her feathers look like they're all ruffled and fluffed up like she's gliding on the water. And having them on the mirror like this almost makes them look like they're on a pool. This one is really small. Look how elegant her neck is. These little guys are so tiny. Big girl in the back there who started this whole thing, she has no markings on her at all. I don't think. Nope, just the $2 sticker. And the one with the purple violet in it, she is also a Lenox. This one here on the right with the sassy neck, as my aunt says, she was 50 cents. So a collection does not have to be expensive to bring you happiness. This little girl way on the left, she is a Japanese brand. I just love the way her wings point upward. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video today. If you have any questions or if I left anything out, please let me know down below, and I will see you all in the next video.